Hey everybody, my name is Adam and this is Leadership Essentials Part 7. I want you to think about your strengths, the things that you love to do, the things that when you do them, they make you feel strong on the inside. They make you feel like you're really alive. Now, I want you to imagine for a second if you could do those things that you're strong in, do those things that you're great at. Imagine if you could do those things for the majority of the time. Like, what if you could spend 80 to 90% of your time on the things that you are the strongest in, and then you could do that over the course of your entire life for years and years and years. Imagine what would happen if you did that. I think you could actually become great at something. The leadership challenge that I have for you today is to figure out how to play to your strengths. Play to your strengths. I believe that is 100% possible, but there needs to be a shift in our thinking. And a lot of what I'm going to say today is this idea that was sparked in me through this series of videos called Trombone Player Wanted. There's a guy named Marcus Buckingham who put out these videos. I watched these videos and went through them with a leadership group I was a part of, and it changed my thinking on this whole strengths thing. And I know strengths are a big topic in the leadership world today, and you got to find your strengths, and you got Strengths Finder and all this. This is a little bit different angle on it, but I'll link to those videos in the description of this video, the Trombone Player Wanted video, so you can dive into all that today. But really, what I want to challenge your thinking on is this, that you should leverage your time in your life on the things that you're strong at, rather than in the things that you're weak at. Some people have this mentality that says, I'm weak in area A, B, and C, so I need to work on those things and shore up my weaknesses so that I'm more balanced. And to some degree that is true. If you're like horrible at something that's critical to your success as an adult or a human functioning in the regular world, yes, you need to work on that. If your weakness is brushing your teeth and you always have bad breath, well, figure out how to work on that. If your weakness is that you cannot show up where you're supposed to be at the time you're supposed to be, figure out how to grow in that area to the level where you can show up on time, where you're supposed to be, when you're supposed to be. I mean, when it comes to the basic adulting principles of life, yes, you need to work on your weaknesses. But I would say what you don't need to do is leverage the majority of your energy and your time into your weaknesses, because those are not the things that you'll ever be great at. Like, think of the world's greatest leaders, the people that you know of, or you think of like Steve Jobs or Walt Disney or Jeff Bezos, or I don't know, like people who are the greatest leaders, the greatest influencers in our world. They didn't become in those roles by focusing on the things that they were the weakest at in life. What they did is they leveraged their strengths and figured out how to use their strengths and then maximize their strengths. That's why they became the best at the world over whatever it is they were the best at. So one of the illustrations the guy gives in this videos that I was telling you about is that he says, let's say you're a parent and your kid comes home with a report card. On that report card, they've got 1 C, 1 B+, 1 A, 1 A-, and an F. Which of those grades are you going to focus most of your attention on? Well, the majority of the people, like 77%, said, oh, we would focus on the F. Because, whoa, hello, yeah, and you do need, not that you ignore that F, but that area where you're the weakest in, that is probably not the area where you actually have the most potential for growth. I would like to propose that where you have the most potential for growth is in the things that you're naturally already strong at, the things that are already your strengths. You can go way higher in. Maybe you're on a scale of 1 to 10, you're a 2 in math. Maybe you're going to raise that from a 2 to a 3, and you'll be still a 3. But let's say you're strong in something else, a subject like English, you can maybe raise that from a 7 to a 10 and become great at that. The point being is that in all of life, the things that you're naturally strong in are probably the things you have the most potential for growth in and the most ability to be great in. So work on your weaknesses to the level that you can function as a regular adult, but then try to invest as much time as possible into the things that you're strong in. Now, the scope of this video isn't going to be enough to detail all of how to do that, but I just want to tell you that I believe it is possible to set up your life and even your job in such a way that you can mostly work in your strength areas, and then you can have a team of people around you who can help you in the areas that you're weak in. And if you can do that, oh my goodness, everything will be so much better. You'll feel life, you'll feel joy, you'll be more effective, you'll be more productive, you'll be more happy. It'll be good. There's a runner right now named Kipchoge, who's everybody's saying he's literally the greatest marathoner of all time. He's currently trying to break the 2-hour marathon in a couple months. A guy like Kipchoge, A, he's got lots of strengths and natural talent. B, he's working super, super hard and he's got good coaches. He's doing all of it. Now, if I were to train as hard or harder than Kipchoge, get the same coaches or better coaches than him, I would probably still not be able to ever beat him in a marathon. Why? Because that is not one of my strengths. That's not the way that God naturally built my body, etc., etc. Okay? Same thing with Michael Phelps, the greatest swimmer of all time. He has natural talents and abilities that were built into him by God. And what he did with those talents is he took awesome coaches and he worked really, 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 really hard and became the greatest swimmer of all time. I could work harder than Michael Phelps, get better coaches than Michael Phelps, and I would still probably never be able to swim as fast as Michael Phelps because swimming isn't my natural strength. It's not the way my body was built by God and made by God. And so the point being that though you're maybe not going to be the greatest marathoner of all time, you may not be the greatest swimmer of all time, but there's something that God designed and built into you that you can be great in. You may not be the greatest in the world, but there's areas of your life that God made you to be great in. And if you can focus on those things and work on those things, whoa, you'll be one of the best leaders around. Let's get practical with this. How do you figure out what your strengths are? Because I'm not talking the same strengths as like a strength finder type test. I'm talking about what are the things that make you feel strong? What are the things that after you do them, you're just like, woo! And you feel like you could keep doing them for hours and hours and hours, because when you do them, they give you life and they give you energy and they make you feel more alive. Try to do more of those things. I'm defining strength in this video as something that makes you feel strong, and I'm defining weakness as something that makes you feel weak. If you're spending the majority of your time doing things that make you feel strong, you're not going to get burnt out because you're drained after doing these things. Yeah, there'll be a level of tiredness, but there'll also be an element of aliveness in you when you begin to work and spend your time in your strengths. So what I want to challenge you and encourage you to do is figure out what your strengths are, figure out those things that make you feel strong, that make you feel alive, and then find other people whose strengths complement your weaknesses, and then work together, bam, to be super, super effective in life. This is the way that God meant the church to function. If you're a church leader, this is biblical, that God designed it so that my strengths are different than your strengths, are different than this person's strengths. We're the body of Christ, and when each person is doing the thing that they're made to do, that they're wired by God to do, then all of a sudden the whole body becomes strong. And so God never meant any of us to do every part. Figure out the part that you're great at and leverage your life to be able to invest most of your time in that, and figure out how to stop doing the things that you're weak at. Not to the level where you become an irresponsible person, but as much as you can, if you can start doing less of the things you're not great at and empowering other people to do those things and doing more of the things that you're strong in, oh man, it's going to be awesome what God's going to do through you. So anyways, there's way more I could get into on this, but I'm just going to leave you with this vision of I believe it is possible for you and for me and for all of us to play to our strengths. First, we've got to figure out what our strengths are. And then we've got to find people in our life who can help us with our weaknesses so that we don't have to spend all our time on our weaknesses. And then just pour our lives into those things that we are strong at. And if we can do this within our teams, in our jobs, within our churches, and within our personal lives and within our families, man, guys, it's going to be awesome how God is going to use us. So there's going to be a whole part 2 to this video that kind of digs into the second side of this, of building a team, and as a leader, how you play to your strengths, but also build a team around you who can shore up your weaknesses and then together be awesome and strong. But that's coming in the future. With that being said, imagine what God could do if you and all the people around you were playing to your strengths and spending your time doing the things that you love and the things that you're most strong at. Whoo! It would be incredible. Imagine if you did that for years and years and years and years. Man, find out what your strengths are and then work as hard as you can to try to play to your strengths. think you'll find life there. I think you'll find joy there. I think you'll find sustainable ministry there for years and years and years and years. That's all I got today. This is a year in the life of a 40-year-old youth pastor, and I will see you guys tomorrow.